What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the garage, and we're starting tonight a little bit early, so I'll give some people some time to get logged in here as I clean up my space, get my laptop opened up so I can see what is going on. And yes, this is the Thursday night live show. I did not put a notification out because I've been busy, super busy. So hopefully everybody is ready for the weekend. I'm not sure how many people we're going to end up having show up tonight because it is 4th of July weekend, but I'm pulling the chat up right now. Happy 4th of July, everybody. It's good to see everybody. Let's go. Here we go. Turn off my sound. Hey, Mike, what's going on? Modified Vets, welcome. Fabian, welcome. Dean Z, happy 4th. Yeah. Lathan, Dave, Tom. What is going on, everybody? So busy. Still waiting on parts, but busy. Been doing a lot. I don't know if you don't follow me on Instagram. I just posted a picture of the. Here, let me get that out of the way. The refurbished small block Chevy valve covers. They turned out decent. I could have done better, but this engine bay is going to get dirty anyway, so I ain't too worried about it. Oh, by the way, what do we got over here? What do we got? What's that big box? Future content coming out. Why is this thing all cattywampus? So keep your eyes peeled. We're going to be doing some installs later on. Hey, Zeph. We're going to be doing some installs later on. Nitrous Express, throttle body plate. Seeing how you ran everything from blower to nitrous, and we're getting ready to run blower and nitrous. Thoughts on nitrous C6 versus a blower? I would generally say I lean towards blowers. I really love Pro Chargers, but I love nitrous also. So, and seeing how Nitrous Express is a sponsor, I'll say nitrous. How about we run nitrous? So we are going to be running nitrous. We're going to be running the Maximizer 5. And turn this on. We'll be running the Maximizer 5. Hey, Breezy, what's going on, brother? And so we are going to be, with the Lingenfelter 2-step, we will trigger the nitrous and the Lingenfelter 2-step. So whenever we're on the button in 2-step, the nitrous will be disabled. As soon as we let go of the button, we will go into nitrous, and then we're using the Maximizer 5 to turn the nitrous off whenever we achieve boost pressure. So whenever we get up to about 10 psi, we will phase the nitrous out and just let the supercharger go over. So hoping to get some nasty 60-footers out of it, things like that. How do I figure out what injector size do I need? That's a good question, Caesar, sorry. Look at what injectors you have now, and then estimate your horsepower, estimate your goal horsepower, scale them up percentage to hit the 80%. Putting the VS Racing 85mm on tomorrow. Good. Can't wait to see how it responds to that bigger turbo. Dyno Day coming up. I'm going to the track tomorrow, but I'm not driving anything. Obviously, the truck, the motor's sitting right here, and I could take Cadillac. I'm taking the Cadillac, but I'm not racing the Cadillac. Justin's taking the bike out, and we're doing spray on the bike tomorrow. So figured out exactly how to set up a wideband log line. Ooh, that beer's strong for first beer of the night. Oh yeah, WMR, I'll hit you up for some details. Rare earth fabrication. Tuning my Jeep LS swap right now. Doing a little auto tune, seeing the driver's seat as a type. Woo! What's going on, Rob? What is going on? Thank you, Rocom Montana. I'm happy with how it's turning out, even though Pomantillo or whatever his name is, Preston, Had to bust my bubble, and he's like, "Is that thing going to clear the firewall?" And I'm like looking for my sledgehammer. We'll make it clear the firewall. Honestly, though, these valve covers are only about, maybe not even a half an inch taller than the factory valve covers with the plastic covers on there. So we should be all right. If anything, it'll just be the driver's side rear might be a little bit close, but nothing that a mallet cannot fix. Let me pull you guys a little bit closer here. Come get a little bit closer. Get up here where I can see you guys. What up, John? There we go. There we go. And then, of course, there's a table of all the parts that need to go back on. I am in the middle of doing the coil swap with the ICT stuff. I'll do a video on it. I've already kind of spec'd out. It's hard to kind of get an idea of where to put the coils without having the motor in there. So, you know, I don't know. I may not get around to that until we get the motor back in. But I've gone in and wired in the two-step already, which just plugs in. It's, you know, I'll do a video about setting it up and all the other stuff. But as far as plugging them into the coils, they just plug directly into the factory harness. Then from the factory harness, I've gone back and taped that down tight, and then are using the ICT ignition coil extensions to get over to where they're mounted at. So basically, my harnesses are going to be fat and ugly, but hopefully low and kind of out of the way where you can't see them. Wallace, I'm sorry to hear about that, brother. Yeah, John, I've had a few Bang energy drinks. They're a bit much for me. Daniel, learn how to use HP tiers from you. Awesome. Still having Nokia issues to get 0 and learning the 4L80, but huge thank you for the videos. Well, thank you for showing up. Hey, Vasily. You're not late. We started early, so don't feel bad. Hey, Thomas. It's going good. Sweaty, hot. Supposed to be 91 to 92 at the track tomorrow with a 50% humidity. So, oh yeah, and patrons, I'll do the boost gauge giveaway tomorrow. I swapped it out this week, so I have it boxed up here, ready to go. I pulled the 15 PSI boost gauge out, which was the analog style, which I love that boost gauge. It's my favorite boost gauge ever. But we're running more than 15 PSI, so I had to go over to another one. So giving the 15 PSI one away over on the Patreon. If you have not gone over there, patrons, go check it out and make sure you get entered. Yeah, there should be a video on it from the end of last week. When idle tuning, how exactly are you doing the 400 to 800 columns? I mean, depending on if you're setting a idle at like 700 to 800, James, I will use that column and then interpolate back to the lower stuff. Eric, I appreciate the offer. I've already spent money to upgrade it to the bigger one. I would like to have CarPlay or Android Auto because I don't have an iPhone really that I use. But it's to the point where I have a sneaking suspicion this winter we'll be pulling the rest of the interior out for doing the cage. Because, I mean, let's face it, as long as this thing holds together, being that this is like my first motor I've assembled, there's always the chance that I've completely hosed something up. But I don't think so. So cylinder charge temp complex model. Disable the complex model regardless. Get rid of it. It's not going to hurt anything. Disable the complex model. If your it doesn't matter where your IAT is, scale your cylinder bias towards IAT. You'll be fine. Brandon, anyone know how to soften up the 1-2 shift on a P01? Lower your shift pressures. Rokon, this one is a Rusty Rail, Desert Rider, Agave Lime, IPA, mouthful. It's only 6% alcohol by volume. IBU is 42 if you guys care about IBUs. It's a little bit strong for a first beer of the night, but I've got a whole bunch of single cut back in the beer fridge, and none of it's really cold yet. What up, Steve? Good to see you, brother. Yeah, well, I was down here, and I was like, man, I might as well just do the live show from the garage. And yeah, you're right. I was doing a live. I was like, I should do the live show from the garage. I was like, but I didn't put up the post saying, hey, we're in the garage tonight or whatever. And so I was like, I'll just start it early. That way, people have a time to jump on, and you know, we'll just go from like 7:30 to 8:30 because I know a lot of people are traveling for the 4th of July or something. You know, going camping, going to the lake, crap like that. I know how it goes. So no big ordeal there. But I did miss last week. I apologize. I had a just such a super busy week. I ended up taking Thursday and Friday off, and so I just decided to, you know, have some Kyle time. What up, TJ? Opinion method on adjusting EIOT. Andrew, it's subjective on whether or not you need to. Honestly, you probably don't need to in most situations. There can be some benefits to adjusting the timing on injection stuff for the ports, but that's if you're getting to that point where you need to adjust that, man, you're probably dealing with some pretty serious issues. Not necessarily issues, but pretty serious setup. I've done some tuning on a lot of crazy setups and never had to adjust EIOT though. Oh, cool. Wallace is working on a new project with Terminator X Stealth 4150 on a 6-liter. Hey, Brandon. Hey, Super Slow. As I said, I was just out in the garage. I thought I'd fire it up. Yeah, sorry, WRM Performance just got busy in the last week, and so things were kind of running behind, but I sat down with the wife and was like, we got to get these, we got a couple of hats to, let's get them out. Vesely's, can you tell me more about your second injector setup with Megasquirt? Yeah, I am running a set of second injectors. Shout out to Jim for hooking me up with some 80 pounders because I've maxed out the 42s. I am using the Holly High Ram with the LS3 style injectors. And so they are port injection on top of the primary. The Megasquirt is set up to only start injecting. It has a VE table, so it is looking at RPM versus manifold pressure. And that table is set up to only start injecting above 100 kPa, so only in boost. Once we hit 100 kPa, I ramp up until I don't remember, 300 kPa, somewhere around there. And then you set that table up kind of as a linear slope table. Then you go back in to the HP tuners for your direct injection, and you make the actual adjustments to reach stoic and stuff like that on the direct injection setup. So you're not necessarily worrying about doing much control on the auxiliary injectors. You're doing all the control on your primaries. And the nice thing about it, at the end of the day, you're still using the primary injectors, and so idle's great. You know, low speed trolling, you still get good fuel economy, things like that. And since you're using bank-to-bank injector firing on the secondaries, you don't have to worry about, not that it's been a big issue with bank-to-bank anyways, because I run that on the Cadillac and it does fine, but you're up in the revs by the time the bank-to-bank comes on, so flooding out the ports is not a big ordeal. What are you talking about, TJ? What is the most I can lower the 4 to 5 shifts on my C7A8? Torque management is still pulling a lot of timing. I don't like to use minimum timing. No, don't use minimum timing. You need to, Eric, you need to go in and look at the, what the hell are they called? Give me a second, I'm pulling it up here. Oh, that reminds me, somebody just said the word charger. Justin picked up a Magnum, so we will be doing some stuff on Dodges here soon. So keep your eyes peeled. Excited? Yeah, I know you got yours, Justin. Let's see here. Let's open up a Gen 5. Go. Oh, that wasn't a good one. That's a manual. Scroll right over and opened up a ZL1 like an idiot. Where's something that's for sure? Okay, this will be an automatic. Okay, under trans, torque management, upshift, look at your torque factor. Lower your torque factor down a little bit. Don't go crazy on that though, because it can get very violent. But that is what is pulling timing on shifts. Vasily, yes, we are using that with meth. I've got direct port meth injection on here. I have a sneaking suspicion, though. Some of the things, granted, part of what killed the motor the last time was it freaking out and switching over to the VE table and there being negative values in the VE table. That wouldn't have been an issue except we had secondary injection on there. So if we hadn't had the secondary injection on there, whenever it done that, it would have just acted like fuel cut. But we still had fuel, and this was doing like 60 or 70% of the fueling. And so it still had enough fuel to make power, and then it ran out lean. So, but yeah, I think also why we lost the rings on all the odd cylinders is I screwed up on wiring the solenoid up. I tested it, and I thought the solenoid on that side fired properly. I now think that that solenoid was not firing properly. Totally on me. I should have unhooked them and flowed them into a bucket to verify. I think that's probably what killed it, is that I was only flowing methanol on the even side. The odd side was not getting any methanol injection. The logs tend to show that. And I ran into looking at it because I was logging EGTs on both sides. In fact, I'm putting 8 EGTs in this time. We're logging all 8 cylinders on EGTs on this setup. I was seeing lower EGTs on the driver's side, but I was seeing EGTs on the passenger side dip, just not as much. And I think it's because of the setup with the plate. The setup with the plate spraying, they're spraying over the runners, but I think some of it was drifting over into the driver's side. And so that's why we were seeing a little bit of temperature differential down there. It was lowering the EGTs a little bit. So I'm going to go through with the manifolds and flow them out the pump, flow them into a bucket, make sure we're getting good flow rates, because honestly, even I have a sneaking suspicion that was going on. Yeah, got water meth on top of the secondary injectors. And then we're going to have nitrous on top of that also. So we're throwing everything at this thing. But you also have to remember we're running the factory DI injectors. Factory high pressure pump, which isn't an issue here. Where we're going to run into an issue, and I still have to go in and put that 525 liter per hour pump in, is just maintaining fuel pressure to the entire fuel system, but we have multiple fuel pressures. So how does water meth affect AFR? It's just another fuel, so you have to tune for it. Same ordeal, just like the auxiliary fueling. You want to go in, set on your start and stop pressures for your water meth, get those set in, then leave them alone. That way you can go through and tune the offsets through your other injectors. Anyone have an issue with oil pressure sensors, Gen 3 6 liter? The last one blew at 5,400 around 70 PSI. This is the third one I've replaced for the same issue, blowing the guts out of the inside. Yeah. It's a big-ass, sexy snow performance meth plate. Sounds good, TJ. We'll talk to you later. Yeah, Breezy, Dodge some video soon. This is a 05 Dodge, so it's more of like the platform that we look at. If you go in and look at 05 Dodges, they're more like a GM. It's whenever you get into the whatever the 2010 and later that it gets a little bit wonky on some of those. Lambda, lambda, lambda. Everything 1.85. Life is good. Life is good. I'm looking at the nice thing about it is we've got the Lingenfelter two-step box in there that can act as a also a timing retard box, and so I need to figure out a way of doing fail-safes better on all this stuff. In fact, probably what I should do is just switch over to a fail-safe AFR gauge and have the output from that thing going to like everything. Cut fuel, cut timing, cut everything. Segura Dad, thank you, brother. Welcome to the live show. Danderson, is it normal on startup the O2 slowly creep up to 900 millivolts before going into closed loop? Yeah, I mean, you got to realize that on startup, your startup enrichment is so rich that you're flooding those. That's why the closed loop or the O2s don't go into closed loop until you get out of startup. That's why there's a warm-up parameter there, because the things only switch properly at lambda. No! Justin, no. I was just telling them about your Magnum. What up, BT Civil? It hasn't even shipped yet. I was hoping it would go out that way. What is the best plug-and-play aftermarket ECU for a C6 vet? I have no clue who makes plug-and-plays for a C6. How can I tell that my wideband is bad? Turn on your narrow bands at idle. They should be getting you to stoic, and then see that your wideband agrees. Hey, McBride. Can I run an LS1 without O2 sensors? Yeah, you can run anything without O2 sensors. O2 sensors are just there for closed loop, which is fueling strategy outside of power enrichment. So if you are looking at, you know, a track-only car, O2 sensors are pointless. Got a big 4x4 buggy that needs a little help. Learn a lot from you, Patreon soon. Sounds good, VT Civil. Good luck, man. Beyblader says, definitely try an OE oil pressure sensor. Had nothing but problems with everything else. So I just did the cam swap, nothing big. TSP stage 2 high lift, TBSS intake, and 42-pound injectors. I've taken over 20% out. Down low or overall? Because down low, yeah, it's not crazy to take out on the bottom side. Because you got to remember the camshafts are built to make their power up at a higher power range, 3,000 plus generally. And so they're actually less efficient down low. And so you lose the ability to draw air into the motor below that point. When I rev to 5K RPM, the engine dies and I get a huge exhaust explosion. Well, you're too damn rich. You need a wideband to tune. You just don't need narrow bands. Yeah, mostly down low. That's perfectly normal. I have LS3, so I get forged rods and pistons, get the stock crank balanced with them, or get a stroker kit that has all three forged. I mean, how much more is it for the stroker kit? I don't know about the LS3s. Do you have to do block clearancing for a stroker kit on those? Oh, modified vets, that's a good idea. Just use my empty rear O2 harness to wire up my flex sensor. And so you just swap the pin at the ECU. Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, I like that idea. I mean, it's right there anyways, right beside where you normally hook it in. Christopher Schumacher and HPT, do you ever change the Soy AFR value from 14.6. Yeah, if you're running E85, you have to trail it out. But other than that, no. 14.7, efficient burn. That's the target. I don't believe in lean burn BS. I'm not here for gas mileage. I want this thing to be efficiently burning at idle, and then I know that whenever I'm commanding PE, I'm commanding it against the proper AFR to get the goals that I'm looking for. Good idea. Who are you talking to, WMR? How are you setting up your PIDs? I need a bunch of caffeine, I tell you what. My previous tuner did math only, wanted to my VE, but my LQ4 now has an LS1 intake reverse with LQ4 truck throttle body. Start by importing the VE from an LS1. No. Stick with the LQ4 VE. You'll be fine. Shouldn't have any issues. Lambda is available on Gen 3s. Therefore, I did not look into it. I know what you're talking about, but I didn't know what they updated. What did they do on the MS3 Gold box? Secure Dad, yes, I do custom tunes remotely. Check out the website, goatropegarage.com. Which PID is it to watch torque management pull timing? You've got to watch a couple PIDs. You're going to want to watch your commanded and immediate torque. Predicted and immediate torque commanded, your engine torque, and then basically if your engine torque is trying to exceed your predicted or immediate torque, that means torque management is pulling torque. Immediate is timing. Predicted is airflow. Always keep that in mind. Predicted is always airflow, immediate is timing. So if you see it predicted lagging behind, it is closing your throttle body. If immediate is lagging behind, it's pulling timing. I'll have to go out and check that out, Zeph. Any chance of some coyote tuning in the future? Christopher, I don't want to lie to you. Probably not. Sorry. It's not that I have anything wrong with the coyote. My work truck has the coyote in it. It's a cool motor. But have you looked at the VE table debauchery that's going on in that thing? Ugh. Yeah, Vats, there should be a commanded EQ ratio on the Gen 3. Oh, thanks, Rob. Yes, the Hemis have been waiting. I'll give them that. I did have people asking for Dodges before, and I'll be honest with you, I'd rather dive into Dodge myself. Got a question. What would cause the L83 to crack ringlands on the driver's side? Are you talking about mine or yours? Yes, at the end of the day, Lambda makes a lot more sense, especially if you're using blended fuels. Yours did the same as mine. Eduardo. Really? Yeah, it's not so much that it's budding rings, James. It's the question of why did it only do it on the driver's side? I thought that mine was due to methanol, not getting as much methanol delivered on the driver's side. But that's very interesting that yours did it all on the driver's side also. Under 15 psi of boost, well, as far as that goes, cylinder temp and running lean is probably what got you, because that's what got me was running lean. Even my cylinder temps work bad. But I also threw 36 degrees of timing at it with no fuel. So it was just a crappy tune, which I know better, but I'll be honest with you, I need an excuse to rebuild this thing so we can make 1,000 horsepower. Ah, okay. Super Slow pipes in here and says, I believe that the Gen 3 is older than 2000. It won't do lambda values. Maybe an OS thing. Good to know. The beer today is Rusty Rail, Desert Rider, Agave Lime IPA. This is my last Rusty Rail. Then I'm going back over to single cup. Had a Trackhawk twist rods in half on the driver's side. Yeah, exactly, McBride. That's how it works out. It's like, baby. It's like this whole YouTube channel is predicated on tuning. I gotta have a motor to tune. No, she has been very supportive. She's been very supportive. I just hide the credit card bills from her. You can set up math parameters to convert AFR to lambda, but at that point in time, you might as well just use AFR because it won't convert correctly based on fuel blends. The idea is that if you're on a platform that you're tuning on lambda, it should, it's able to do things like flex. But as I said, some of the early stuff that was before they even were thinking about flex is not. Those might be some of them that don't have lambda. Right, exactly, Michael. I am not good at being patient, so sitting here waiting on the cam is killing me. I have a sneaking suspicion the torque converter is going to show up before the cam. So I sometimes forget I even ordered a torque converter. I ordered a torque converter, and then last week I was looking up turbo 400s like an idiot. I'm like, that torque converter was about half of what a turbo 400 would have cost me. Bar KTM, you know what? I'm just not the guy to ask about cam stuff. 600, 240, 240 at 113 doesn't seem too crazy. Mikey, there's people in here that will be able to answer that better than me. I went with TCI just because Circle D was like 3 months out. How about roller rocker stuff? I ain't got enough money for roller rockers. If I don't need to swap it, I'm not swapping it right now. There you go. Check out Richard's stuff. He's in our Friends of the Garage section. He emailed me the other day, by the way, so we will have Richard back on the channel here soon. How long after the motor's in will the trans blow up? Hopefully not the first trip to the track. Steve. Thanks, brother. Thanks, brother. Throwing the 4L60 in the trash is the best converter. Hey, John. Yeah, I honestly, kind of looking back, whenever because I spent like $1,000 on this torque converter, which, I mean, I'm sure I can get some decent money out of it whenever I sell it, but still, I was like, man, that's halfway to a decently built turbo 400 that, could handle 1,500 horsepower. I probably should have just done. Man. How about first time back at the pass, we don't throw 26 PSI at it at the first pass? No, I'm thinking we're going to drop down to about 22 PSI after we go to the smaller pulley and the lower compression ratio and the cam. But we're still going to hit it with at least a 50 shot of nitrous off the line. And I'm going in and I'm doing the StabiliTrak disabled thing. Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's right. Any good converter is $1,000. Danny, I did the trunnion upgrade. Yep. So I'm good there. That was a no-brainer. I wasn't going to do anything in here without going ahead and do the trunnion upgrade. And thanks to Zeth for the tool to do the trunnion upgrade. It made it super easy. I'm running the CompCam 700 double springs with titanium retainers. Hey, Craig, you are welcome. Awesome. Dude, if you're at 1%, you're golden. If you're within 3 or 4%, you're golden. 1% just means that you are getting as OCD as I am. Dude, I'm not trying to do modifications on this 6L80. Comp trunnions come with the tool. Good to know. Well, and that's the other thing is we're probably going to push out to at least 6,800. I'm on stick cam, but Richard Huller suggests go stiffer with springs. Well, I mean, it just depends on how many RPMs that you want to run it, whether or not the springs have enough power to get the valves closed at that RPM. But it is an easy upgrade, so. What are your cam specs? Hell, I don't know. Let's go to Cam Motion's website and look. I did not go super aggressive. 226, 242, 116. Let me go see what the lift is. Where are they at? Where are they at? There we go. Gym 5. Supercharger. Centrical. Stage. This is like maybe what you would consider like a stage 2. So it's a 630, 621. It's going to be huge. It's going to be huge compared to what we had in there before, though. So, like, oh, John, we've been running over 500 for a long time on this trans. You're fine. As I say, if you're within 4 or 5%, just leave it alone. You're right. NK, there's plenty of dudes running 1,000 plus on 6L80. There's plenty of dudes running that much horsepower with almost no trans tuning on top of it. The big thing about the 6L80 is not to pull torque management out of it. The torque management will allow you to run the 6L80 out past 1,000 horsepower. Yeah. You going to measure for push rods? No. No. Going back in with stock length. Probably, Justin. I don't know. We might have enough straight. So literally, I'm going to take the intake pipe, twist it down into the intercooler, and then come out of the intercooler right into the intake. So it's going to just, where it was like here into the intake, now it's going to go down to the intercooler and then up to the intake. So I'll check all that WMR. Don't worry about it. You think I'm just going to throw this crap in and fire it up without checking it? What, Chevy for life? Piston to valve clearance should not be an issue because our compression height's quite a bit lower. What up, 325? Yeah, thanks, Boyd. Appreciate it. Go big or go home. Hey, Al Malali. Thank you, S10 Issues. Trust me, man. I spent my time with it. This one should last. So about how much do you have in the build so far? Off the top of my head, $7 grand. I would say. I try not to think about it because when I start adding it up, it makes me sick to my stomach. She don't ask questions, man. Don't ask, don't tell. Let's just say we're not spending money in July. We're done. We're done. But no stone unturned. We're changing a lot of stuff on here. Somebody thumbs down this? Oh, how about it? To hell with them. What's a good way to set a PCB system for boost? Put a check valve in it. Done. What I said, WMR, this is my first engine build, but I did go through, checked everything, weighed everything, checked bearing clearances, all that stuff. I did my due diligence on it. Everything should be pretty up and up on it. Should be a good build. Why is my IAT high? Well, I need to know what your setup is. Did you push it? Anyone hack the Holly cam? There's data out there because Holly is used for NHRA. If you do enough research, you can find the Holly CAN bus addresses and messages. So there has been people that have hacked it. In fact, there's been people that have hacked it. And for the boat world, nobody's really done it for the car world. I was going to do it back in the day. I just got busy with horsepower, and so I never went back to it. Mikey, should I change the brake torque management to a 0 and right tire after putting the cam in to keep it idling and drive? You should not need to do that. You need to check your fueling. You're probably too rich. Yeah, I don't even want to know what it costs to have somebody else do it. Bingo, Matt. Check valve just to keep boost from going into the case. Because it's hot. Yeah. If you have a vacuum pump, you can run a vacuum pump on it, but honestly, you just want that thing to kind of be neutral. I bought some PCV valves will have a check valve in them. Keep that in mind. Pull it off, blow through it, see if you can blow into it. It may seat itself. Because in theory, should only be opened up underneath vacuum. So I bought this one for these heads. Thought it had a nice look to it. Nice old school look for the heads. Listed as a PCV valve. No, it's not a valve. It's just a breather. It's a breather with a port on it, but not a big ordeal because my catch can already has a check valve on it. So that will be going to the suction side with the check valve. You already had it, need something to start with. I mean, what do you need to start with? That has all the data there. Literally has all the addresses and words, man. What is the funniest experience you've had while tuning? Probably the first time I went into limp mode and I thought I destroyed something. Yeah, the Holly NHRA documents is the only information that's out there, but it's also this. It's should be all you need. Okay, yeah, any PCVs have a check valve. Most PCVs will have a check valve. So check it. Mine's built into the valve cover. I had mine shoot oil all over the place, even with an oil catch can. How the hell did they do that, Matt? It should be a closed loop system. Justin, are you still on here? Ah, Chevy Cruze 1.8 NA with boost. Gotcha. Where did the oil come from, though? You piqued my curiosity. What about little filters on the valve covers? No, you don't need to put a check valve on those. Here's the thing. You really should not have pressure in the crankcase. You're going to get a little bit because of the compression ring gap. Breather's perfectly fine. That will let the pressure off. It's how I knew that my motor had blown ring lands, basically, because whenever we were at the drag strip, Justin and I popped the hood up. I had to fire it up. As soon as he fired it up, it started pushing smoke out the breathers, which means we were getting pressure down into the crankcase. So, breathers are perfectly fine. You just want to make sure that you're getting the air out of there. Were you laughing at my use of the word crankcase? What time are we going to the track tomorrow, Justin? Carlos, the beta is a separate install from the standard one. So make sure you're going into your programs and choosing the beta, not the standard one. Now there's something regarding CAN ID that's encrypted with the ECU serial. So yeah, I'll do the readings from the ECU and start delay on the transfer. Have you sniffed the bus just to see what the message format looks like on it already? Okay, I'll leave here around 5 then. How much boost is enough boost on a SB stock bottom in Gen 3? I don't know. Ask Richard Holdner. He's the one that throws all the boosted SBEs. Christopher Schumacher with the question of the night. Will I be able to make turbo noises with stock 25-pound injectors, or do you keep... Oh, are you asking if stock 25-pounders will... No. What are you running, Christopher? You got 4-cylinder? 25-pound injectors aren't going to give you much... aren't going to give you much overhead, but I don't know what your displacement is. You are not the only idiot to boost a Cruze, I assure you. Keystone. We got about 5 minutes left here, ladies and gentlemen. So get your questions in if you got any more left. I am in dire need of a shower. I smell like death. Warmed over twice. Everybody go down below and hit the thumbs up button because somebody thumbs down this and I want to punch them. 1,000 to the wheels. Yes, we will hit 1,000 to the wheels. There's no way that we're not hitting 1,000 to the wheels. Good God. You guys, I go 1 week without a raffle and people are calling me out on it. You guys are bleeding me out house and home. I can't afford to eat between motors and raffles. Brian, yes. I'm hoping that's the weak link, though, because I've already destroyed one drive shaft. Hey, Tyler. I know WMR. I'm just giving you crap. John, what is the setup now? Well, I blew the motor. So, here's the new L83 poly high RAM, auxiliary port injection, direct injection, methanol. There'll be a nitrous in there. We're on a ProCharger F1A, diamond pistons, K1 rods, still on the stock crank, compression lowered from 11.5 to 9.7 to 1. Yeah, and then we were running 20 PSI of boost, but I have a sneaking suspicion that this setup will drop that down to about 16. But I've got a smaller pulley, so we're shooting for maybe 25. It's kind of the goal. 25 PSI boost, I think, will be all right. Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, awesome, Steve. That was nice of her. Tell her thanks for the support. Dude, WMR, it's a pretty good book. I really like it. In fact, I got my copy sitting right here. I would go with the serial to USB, but the other one was fine. James, you'll have to refresh my memory. What was the second one? I'm still catching up on raffles. Hi, Hillary. Good to see you, too. I saw D&Z. Didn't see you show up. There is no raffle tonight. Knock it off, knuckleheads. You guys show up next week for the raffle. Serial USB works great. The only issue is every once in a while it disappears and you have to restart the scanner. Other than that. Oh, yeah, you won merch. Okay. Rob, I've got a review out on this book. Yes, Modified Vets. Link on the website. If you go to goatroadgarage.com, the link will be at the top of the website for Patreon. I know. So. You guys are killing me. Listen. It's time for me to take a shower. You guys have a great 4th of July. Thanks, everybody, for stopping in. Appreciate all of you guys as usual. Another month. I'll keep you posted. Videos are going to be a little bit slow here for the next couple weeks because there's not crap going on. I'm not just going to shoot fluff videos. So unless there's content worth putting out there, I may only do 1 or 2 videos a week, 1 video a week maybe. I'll do at least 1 a week, rest assured. But once we get to the point of putting this thing back in and we're going to hit the ground running, you guys are going to get sick of seeing me pop up on your notifications because we're going to tune the crap out of this. Check out NK Motorsports. Also, he's doing a video of his turbo swap, so you can find a link at tuning101.com to his channel. But yeah, we're going to hit the ground running. We are going to literally probably have daily videos on tuning this thing. So keep your eyes peeled. You know the drill. Thanks for stopping by the garage. ABT, always be tuning.